I'm your host, Cenk Uygur, and now we have a very interesting studio guest for you guys, Gina Elise. She's from Pinupsforvets.com. In fact, she's the founder and model for this nonprofit organization, Pinups for Vets. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you for joining us. So, okay, first, tell us what it is.
Okay, I will. Basically, back in 2006, we were starting to hear a lot of stories about our vets coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan that were injured, coming back to VA and military hospitals in the U.S. that were severely underfunded. And I just, sometimes in life things strike you, and I really wanted to do something to help out. And I've always been a huge fan of pinups, World War II nose art. And I thought, how do people raise money? How can I support these hospitals that are helping our vets? So people do calendar fundraisers. So I kind of brought my love of the pinup and recreated sort of the pinup calendar. And so people can go to pinupsforvets.com, and it's a fundraiser. And so all the proceeds from the calendar go to support VA and military hospitals across the U.S. By the end of this year, this is my 4th calendar, I will have donated $50,000 to VA and military hospitals.
Jesus, Lord mercy. That's pretty good.
Yeah, to improve their...
Oh, that's what's in the calendar, don't it? Wait a minute, now we're having a conversation. Let me see this calendar.
So here's the calendar.
Okay.
Here's the calendar.
Okay. Oh, you're in a belly dancer outfit, and you're in all sorts of different funky outfits here. Okay, that's part of the deal, huh? Okay.
Exactly, that's part of the deal. So, and sort of another...
Cheerleader outfit? Nurse, don't it?
Another option, so when people go on the website, they can order a calendar for themselves, or they can order a calendar for a hospitalized veteran. Now, I travel around the U.S. and bring these donated calendars into the VA and military hospitals myself. And, I'll go into the room and basically say, this is a gift of appreciation for you. And, the vets are always really surprised. They don't get a lot of visitors, and they're surprised to see a pinup walking into the room. And so, I get a lot of comments like, oh, Gina, I feel a lot better now. Can I get some more air? Or, kind of comments like that. It really lifts their spirits.
Obviously, this is fascinating. So, what made you think of doing it like old school style? And do you do the whole get up? Like when you get there, are you like, hey, what's the big idea, mister? You talk like that or no?
No, I don't talk like that, Jake.
Okay.
Like I said, I was a theater major at UCLA, so I have a large group of friends that are very artistic and costume designers and photographers, so I kind of pulled them in, and I'm a huge fan of this nose art from World War II. And
you're supposed to look like you're from the 1940s.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
You got it right. I'm supposed to look like that. If you turn the calendar, if you turn the calendar over, my grandfather was actually a World War II Army veteran, so the project is a tribute to his service.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now, so you. How long are you going to do this? How long have you been doing it, and how long are you going to do it?
I start shooting next week my 5th calendar. So I'm going into the 5th year anniversary calendar.
Wow.
So, as long as I can do this, and as long as the hospitals need money, last year I donated $15,000 to the Portland VA hospital, and they used the money to buy cognitive rehabilitation and physical rehab for the vets. So, it's really helping out the hospitals.
It is. I got to ask you, just because I'm curious, I don't take it the wrong way, but how do you make a living doing this? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have been working constantly for the past 4 years full-time, nothing related to this. I was actually working in the hotel industry, and I recently resigned to focus on this full-time. I've been applying for a ton of grants. This is my goal. I want to do a full VA and military hospital tour around the U.S. I've already been to 16 hospitals in 10 different states, but I want to do one in every state. So I just basically need to find, a company or a brand that is willing to sponsor something like that. So I'm going out on a limb, and I resigned from my full-time job to try to do this. I'm really passionate about this cause. I think that it's so important to support our veterans.
Well, God bless your heart, man. There's no question about that. And you're obviously doing them a service in a couple of different ways. They get the calendar, they get the money, so it makes sense. You think, at some point, of course, it's going to run its course. Then are you going to go into acting at that point? What do you think?
I love, dedicating my time to volunteer for these hospitals. I think that, forever we have to take care of our vets, and these hospitals, they really rely on private funding, for these rehabilitation programs. So, we'll see what happens. I'll see, how long I can go with it. And in addition to doing the fundraising and going into the hospitals, people can go on the website and also purchase the calendar for a deployed military.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I have tons of units overseas requesting these calendars to kind of boost morale. I just had a colonel write to me the other day, and he said, Gina, I have 1,500 Marines. We're having a really, really tough deployment. I was wondering if you can send calendars, just something that they can look forward to when they get inside the wire.
Ah, that's fascinating. And it's pinupsforvets.com.
Pinupsforvets.com, yes.
Okay, and so you got a lot of stuff there. What's going on over there? You got some sexy shoes?
Yes. Let me tell you about this, Jinx. So I'm going into the 5th year of the project. Now, there was 2 companies that stepped up to the plate, and they said, you know what, Gina, we support the troops, and we want to support you. There's a clothing line both based in Southern California, Stop Staring, stopstaringclothing.com. They donated 15 dresses, 15 outfits for my next calendar. I'm wearing one of them right now.
A little ironic, the name of the company, but okay.
And then Pleaser USA has this amazing line of shoes called Bordello, and they donated 15 pairs of shoes for the calendar. So you'll see it when the next calendar comes out. So I just, I wanted to mention that.
And you got your belly dancer outfit. Do you ever go into belly dancer outfit to the hospitals or no?
No, I don't. I do belly dancing on the side.
Oh, you do? Of course you do.
So, so I, my supporters around the world, they know this. And I had a lot of supporters in the Utah Army National Guard that were deployed in Iraq. And they went out to one of the bazaars in Iraq, and they got me this authentic belly dance outfit. Here's the top. So. Okay,
well, that's got a lot of shingles to it, or whatever you call it. It's a bling bing. Okay, so whenever you go to the hospitals, do guys ever ask you out?
They do. I have vets, sing to me. I got, You Are My Sunshine one time. This, I think, vet that was in his 90s sang to me.
See, but that's the ironic thing, though. The guys in the 90s are going to love you, right? But, do the guys who are in their, 20s, do they even get it? Or
They do. The OIF, OEF vets, I mean, they're huge fans. If you go on the website, and I have a link called In the Field, I have all the pictures of my hospital visits, with the younger vets as well. I've been to Walter Reed Army Medical Center 3 times. It was my 3rd time in April. When you go in there, you're seeing, vets that very severe injuries, and it's just kind of a bright spot in their day to give them something like this.
So has anybody asked you out or no?
Yeah, I actually got a home marriage proposal from an entire unit in Iraq.
Oh wow, they all want to give it. I thought marriage was between one man and one woman, not one woman and a platoon. Okay. All right. So, have you ever accepted? Have you ever gone out with one of the soldiers?
I have dated soldiers. Yes, I can say that.
There's no way you're not dating soldiers. Of course. I mean, look at this whole thing.
It's who I meet. It's who I spend my time with.
Okay.
So, not right now. But
not right now.
No.
Okay. All right. That's fascinating. All right. So, you're going to continue this indefinitely. What's next? Are you going to another? I know you've been to 16 VA military hospitals in 10 different states.
Right.
You've raised nearly 50,000. What's next on your
Well, I'm shooting the next calendar next week. I start shooting. Later in the month, I have 2 hospital visits to the East Coast, one in Massachusetts and one in Connecticut. So that's kind of.
I want to think. We only have a minute left,
yes,
Gina, and we're talking to Gina Elise. It's pinupsforvets.com. So when you're shooting a calendar, do you think, can I get it? How can I get into the sexiest outfits? Do you think this is naughty, I should do this?
Well, pinup is, it's not necessarily scandalous. She's the girl next door. She's
but some of the pictures are, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you have to be sexy without being overly suggestive. You have to leave something to the imagination. That's what makes it sexy.
Okay, but is there a list? You're like, should I do cheerleader this year?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I have all my 15 shots planned out.
Okay, and is it the same every year, like a Girl Scout?
No, completely different ideas every year. My supporters constantly submit new ideas to me.
Well, I bet they do. Okay, all right, Gina Elise, doing something fascinating in America. There's no question about that. Pinupsforvets.com, and it helps everybody. Thanks for joining us,
Thank you so much.
All right, Young Turks.
Blowing reveille, he's a boogie boogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down.